Hi guys, you are welcome to SaharaFootball.net. My name is Akosia Iniesta and we are live at Ejija Kumasi inside the SG Mall where Blasters head coach Chris Hughton will officially be unveiled. So we are here to bring you live updates. So if you haven't subscribed, kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe for us, and then don't forget to click on the notification bell.
Welcome to the SG Mall, where this morning we are unveiling the new coach of the Black Stars in the person of Mr. Chris Hughton. We were here in Kumasi yesterday, but on a different mission. We spent the day with the good people of Kumasi and the king when we celebrated Akwesidae. And we are back this morning to spend time with you. My name is Henry Asantichum. I'm the Director of Communications for the Ghana Football Association. And on my immediate left is the new coach of the Black Stars, Mr. Chris Hughton. We also have here present Vice Chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee and then also a member of the Management Committee, Alhaji Karim Guruza. So you're welcome. Well, before I invite your questions, I would like to run you through the most important part of today's program. So, through the Ghana Football Association, or in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Mr. Chris Hughton will be the next coach of the Black Stars from now until December 31, 2024. Mr. Chris Hughton will be the next coach of the Black Stars from now until December 2024. He will work with two assistants already. We know Masudi Dramani and George Boateng were with him during the World Cup in Qatar. They were assisting Otto Addo, and Chris was also in the role as the technical advisor, but today he takes over as the head coach of the team. Now, for the first time, the head coach and his two assistants will have their contracts running concurrently. What it means is that the contract that Mr. Chris Hughton has signed, his two assistants have both signed the same contract, which would run until December 31, 2024. The two parties have agreed that the terms of this contract shall be subject to a performance review. Obviously, we know we are on a good course, so once we come to the end of the contract in December 2024, we will review the performance and hopefully renew. The Ghana Football Association shall determine his place of work, but Ghana is the first place of work. Any other place that the FA determines would depend on what he wants to do at a given time. If he intends traveling to monitor players, the Football Association will make the condition prevalent enough for him to do so. The head coach and his assistants will be paid through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And of course, the contracts have been signed, and going forward, we have an agreement in place. His official place of residence shall be in Ghana, but anytime he wants to travel, he will be given the needed support or provided with the needed support to do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the various areas where we think the public must know at this moment. Before I invite your questions, I would ask Chris Hughton to tell us about his emotions and how he feels going into the future. Chris, congratulations. Kumasi is all ears.
Firstly, thank you all very much for coming this morning. Regarding my emotions, of course, I've been involved with the association and involved with the team for almost a year now. Although that is in a different capacity as technical advisor, what that has allowed me to do is to get a good feel for the squad, to build up relationships with those in the association and for those around the association. So I think that's allowed me to get a little bit of what we call a head start. But as regards my emotions, as most of you know, the large majority of my managerial career has been at club level. And also as a player, for those that know me would know that I represented the Republic of Ireland as a player. So to represent Ghana and the Black Stars as the head coach is something that I'm incredibly proud of. Sorry about the noise. It's something that I'm incredibly proud of. It's something that I would give everything to make the team as successful as possible. It's something that I will do to make sure that the communication and the relationship that I have with those around the association and of course the supporters to give all of my best. So it's something that I'm hugely looking forward to, but very much our game is about support. And as I said, support from the association, but mostly the support from the huge array of fans that we have. And that starts with obviously a very difficult game at Kumasi on Thursday.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Chris. Colleague journalist, your questions are welcome. Frank Nero will coordinate that. You raise your hand, you'll be given the microphone, you mention your name, your station, and then your question. Thank you.
Okay, I can see a hand there.
Hello, Coach. My name is Evans Ofochu. I work with City FM, City TV. My question is two. One, what sort of Black Stars or brand of football are we to expect from your Black Stars? Two, you've been around the team for a year now. What's your response to allegations of interference in the technical team's work from the GFA hierarchy? Thank you.
Okay, so on the second question first, all I can say is that I am the new head coach. So anything that you speak of before my time here is very much something that you are bringing up and is in the past. All I can speak about is my communication and correspondence that I had with the association in my time being involved so far. And I can only speak highly of that lines of communication and correspondence and the support that I've had from the association. So this is one that I think it's hugely important, because for the Black Stars to do well and achieve what we want to achieve, this is mostly about the players and the players performing, but it's about the technical staff, it's about the supporters around, but it's also very much about the support from the association. And it's very difficult to go in the direction you want to if you don't have all of them things aligned. And I can only speak of my experiences so far. And I said the communication that I've had with the association has been very good. As regards what type of team we will see, what we want to see a winning team, because there can be and there will be lots of questions on a style of football, players that play, why is this player not playing and why is this player playing? Are you too defensive? Are you too offensive? Ultimately, what we all want to see is winning football. And that starts with the correct preparation of the team, using the players to the best of their ability, and picking a team that suits the type of players that we have. So I think we all, as coaches, start on the same level, same starting point. And the starting point is to put together a group of players to play as a team and to win football matches.
Thank you so much. I'm a free Pure FM. On the 19th of March 1982, Ghana won against Libya. So that's about 41 years ago. We've had 33 coaches since 82. You are the 34th coach, Mr. Hughton. What capacity or what capabilities makes you ideal for this very demanding job? Number two, you were the technical advisor for the Stars. You talked about your association and all of that. Will you describe that stint, that advisory or consultancy role as a failure, or you think you were successful? And finally, how would your coaches or your coaching staff and your players describe you as a coach? How would they describe you?
If you're asking me, firstly, why I am in this role, and the obvious answer to this one is because the Football Association of Ghana asked if I would do this role, and after whether I would be interested in being the next head coach. It's a role that I didn't hesitate to accept. As regards my capabilities for this role, I've been in football for a long time, not only as a head coach, but also as an assistant coach. I was an assistant coach for some 14 and a half years before I was a head coach. Then went on to be a head coach. And for those that know my career as a head coach, that has been in the Championship in England, but also managed 3 teams in the Premier League in England. So I think my standing and credentials as a coach of coaching at a good level, I think is good. Everybody has different opinions. The difference, of course, is managing or coaching at international level and club level. And of course, there is a difference. You know, the preparation time is less. Of course, at club level, you have the players day in and day out to be able to develop a team. But this is international football, so every coach or every manager in international football has the same difficulties, and we have to get round them. What I have is, I say, a lot of experience as a head coach, and I will have to use all of them experiences to determine the way forward for the team, to pick the team, to pick the squad, the tactics of the team. These are things that I'm used to. And also adjusting to a less period of preparation. You know, we had players that played yesterday. So in effect, we'll train on Tuesday, we'll train on Wednesday and play a game on Thursday. So these are the things that I would like to think that my years in experience have allowed me to do. As regards my role as technical advisor, then my role predominantly was to support the technical staff, to be a sounding board for the technical staff and the head coach. And I think overall there were disappointments in the World Cup. There's no doubt about that. But I think we had a lot of pluses. You have to always break it down, and you have to look at the games one by one. And I think out of the 3 games, obviously the biggest disappointment was losing against Uruguay and the manner in which we exited. But I think most people would have looked at the Portuguese game with the quality that they have. They're standing in world football. And the South Korea game with, I think, far more positives. So you have to break it down, and that's exactly what I have to do.
All right, thank you very much. Let me take the lady. I've taken some two gentlemen. Please take the mic.
Good morning. My name is Betty Yorton. I work with GH1 TV, and congratulations to you, Coach Chris. Now, my question is, you know, Ghanaian football fanatics, they are very impatient and they have been thirsty for trophy for a very long time. What will you describe as a success in your time with the Black Stars, or a failure if you are unable to achieve?
I think what you do is that you always have to judge what you think and what you perceive as success and failure nearer to the time. And you also have to remember that what is deemed success and failure is different to different people. My responsibilities are, and what we have to remember is that I have the responsibilities to, if I look at the present squad that we have, remember, we went into a World Cup campaign with the youngest squad in the World Cup. So my balances are on bringing these young players through, and also making sure that the experienced players that we have in the squad can be a good combination. So it's always going to be a mix of what is the most important thing, and the most important thing is always here and now. We have two games this week, and this is what the most important thing is. But I also have to have an eye on development, and I think I would be judged on a way a team play, what I've made from the players that we have, whether I've managed to get the best out of the players that we have, and have a support, and this is the most important thing, that have a support that enjoys seeing their team play. Now, what is judged as success and failure will be perceived in different ways. Ultimately, at this moment, it's about winning 2 games this week. It's about qualification to get to AFCON, and it's doing and preparing the team as well as we can from AFCON, and performing the best that we can in an AFCON tournament. And it's normal. It's normal that you will be judged on it.
All right, thank you. Okay, I think he deserves my attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Coach, once again, congratulations on your appointment. In your opening statements, you indicated that your time, with the team for the Nigerian game and then the World Cup allowed you to know the squad and then the technical staff as well. My question is that the reason why you didn't really tweak the squad? You've kept a significant number of them in your squad for the Angola double header. And then knowing the squad is a different thing, but knowing the expectation of the country is also a different thing. How does the Nigeria game, especially in Kumasi, and the atmosphere, compare? I know you've played in some big stadia, you've managed some big teams. On Tyneside, it's a very, very mad football city. How does that pressure, especially in games in Kumasi, compare to what you've had experience as a player and then a manager?
So firstly, I'll speak about the squad itself. I think in my time I've been involved, and I looked at this very roughly this morning. There have been a lot of new players that have come into the squad. So if I think of the dynamics of the team, and when I pick the squad, is to try to incorporate the best I can with the new players that have come into the squad, and of course the existing squad members. I can only ever pick 25 players, and I think most of you would know that we have some injuries. So some players that have come into the squad that wasn't in the initial squad. But it's that balance. And what I didn't want to do was, because what I can do is if I'm looking at the amount of talent that we have out there, you know, I potentially could have brought in, you know, another new 3, 4, 5 players that have not been involved in my period of time. But we have to have some consistency in the squad. And we spoke about going out of a World Cup in the last game, but we have to remember, this is a team that got to the World Cup when there were numerous very, very good teams, African teams, that didn't get there. So the starting position is good. I say, with the introduction of a lot of new players in my period of time here, I have to look for some type of consistency in the squad. The game in Kumasi, yes, and I think it was difficult for me. It's my first time in Kumasi, my first time at a game. And I think when you're there, around that type of atmosphere, it's difficult for it not to affect you. And it does. How vibrant it was, the build-up to the game, the intensity of the game itself, but the intensity of our crowd. And I have no doubt that the influence that the crowd played on the team and the head coach. So this is something that's always important for us. I am very conscious of, and of course, in my period of time so far, we have had some players that have made the squad, okay, from our local game. So I certainly will not underestimate it. Where I think I can add value in my new role is that, you know, I will be spending more time in Ghana. I will be watching more games. I will be attending more clubs and getting to know the league far better than I was perhaps given the opportunity to before. And the only reason I wasn't before is because our concentrations very much were on a World Cup campaign. But I am constantly being made aware of players that are doing well. Of course, the league structure and the teams that are doing well. And certainly in my new role as head coach, I will be paying very much attention to not only the players that are doing well, but the game here in general, because I think it is important. I think it's important that any national team has a good national league. And I will do my very best to make sure that I see as much football here as possible.